Good afternoon, gamers, and welcome to another exciting and long overdue episode of Games with Dave. It has definitely been a while, but joining me today is now three-time guest, an amazing game designer, and an even more amazing human being, Brian Colin from Creature Curation, LLC. His current Vast Grimm Kickstarter, Escaping Stasis, is expanding on the rules of Vast Grimm, adds a ton of adventures and a bunch of other awesome sauce to the Vast Grimm universe. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. One, thanks for coming back and starting it back up because it's a great thing for the industry to have you chatting with folks. It's awesome to be back for my third time. And, I'm just happy to hang out and chat.
Likewise, I'm so excited because, you know, we chat often on Facebook, but it's still kind of impersonal
Yeah.
compared to one-on-one chats and
Actually
FaceTime.
getting that video call time and, face-to-face stuff, it goes a long way, especially like me. I work solo most of the time and it's just me hanging out in my studio or in the print shop or, hanging out with my family. But it's not a whole lot of socializing. So it's good to get that video call time when you can.
It definitely is. So, dude, this project is huge. Like we were kind of talking about this before we went live. How long has all of this been in the works? I mean, it seems like it must be a while, as massive as it is.
Well, I mean, as soon as I finished my last campaign, my last zine campaign, even before that finished, which was the Grim Solitude and the Jaws of Madness campaign, I've been working on bits and pieces of this as I go. Like I release content to patrons on a monthly basis, so there's little bits that are pulled out of that and that have been edited, and then I tend to work on multiple books at one time just because it's where my head goes. And even like the novella that John Baltusberger wrote for this, that was done like maybe year and a half ago ish. It's been done for a while. So there's parts of this that we've been sitting on and parts of that have been in development, like the battle binder that's part of this. I think I initially did the prototyping of that 2 years ago and then put some of the battle binders into the Squirmish campaign. But there's lots of pieces that have been in process in some form or fashion for a while, but I tend to bring it all and put a nice little bow on everything as it gets closer to the actual crowdfunding campaign.
That's crazy. And you've definitely put a bow on this one because this is a big, gift of goodness for Vast Grimm players.
Well, thank you.
And
And new players as well.
yeah, because there is an awesome starter set, which, yeah, I guess we can lead with that and let you tell folks about the starter set that's coming.
Sure, totally. So, one thing I wanted to do, we're around 4 years into people playing Vast Grimm at this point, with the original crowdfunding campaign being in July of 2021, and people getting digital files before the physical printed stuff, and we're still infecting new people with the bizarre sci-fi horror game that is Vast Grimm. So I wanted to create something that new players could get that wouldn't be super expensive, but it would be something really cool. And part of that is the starter box, which is a A5 plus size box. This is like a early prototype of it. It's not the complete finished version because this is a little bit big, but it's big enough that you can put hardcover books in if you're already a collector, right? Like I just happen to have one of my books laying here because I was referencing it. You can put it in. This is a little bit bigger than what it should be as far as the width and the height, but you can fit all sorts of stuff. Oops. You can fit all sorts of stuff in it. But the starter set itself comes with a zine that's the crew member manual, which is everything you need for character creation. And if you're just a player, it's going to have Flesh of My Flesh, which is a quick start adventure. That's a new adventure that has the base rules in it and everything a network operator, that's what I'm calling GMs now, would need to just run this single adventure. It also has character generation sheets and character sheets, and then a lot of room to grow within that box if you want to add more stuff along the way. The network operator manual is a separate zine now. Part of this is in response and pivoting to all the tariffs that have been unleashed upon the world over the past 6 months or so. And that was in response with that, I invested in my own printer, my own large, long digital printer, so that I could print all my books myself. There are limitations to that. Like, I can't print hardcover anymore. I can't do super thick books, but so because of that, I'm pivoting to the zine format, and that's what you'll see in Escaping Stasis, this Kickstarter. Almost everything in the project is something that I'm going to not only have the initial concept for, do most of the content for it, and then actually print it myself. The things that aren't being printed by me are that box, but that's being printed in the US by a box specialty company. The novella, I'm not printing. I'm using somebody that's what they do. They print novels, and then the patches are being made overseas and the binders being made overseas. But everything else, all the other contents, is stuff that, like, I'm going to be sitting there working on my computer, and zines are going to be spit out behind me as I go.
That's sick, dude. I love that so
Thanks.
much. Like, that's so cool that you're basically like your own little production hub now,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's so neat.
And I have a background in it, so it's like, it wasn't a giant leap for me to go from, hey, I'm writing and doing art and laying out these zines, to actually manufacturing them myself.
That's cool. That is so neat, man. And you spoke of the box and being able to fit more into the box. If I think I counted right, there's 7 adventures between the starter set and all the other components of
Yes,
this
but not all of
Kickstarter.
them are adventures, right? So we've got the crew member manual that I had mentioned, and then the network operator manual, which breaks out just the GM rules into that book with some lore. There is expanded rules from what was originally published in the core book, but all that new content is going to be available for free as a PDF, because I
Oh, nice.
never want somebody that's bought the previous book to feel like they have to spend more money just to keep playing the game, because I've realized that a couple years into it, it's going to be a better play experience if we add this and this and this. So people can keep playing and not have to spend any more money. There will also be a printed version of that upgrade toolkit that's $5 on the Kickstarter. So if you do want something physical and tangible to accompany like your hardcover books, you can. Or if you want to get crew member manuals for your players and you still have your original hardcover book, or if you're new to it and want to have multiple crew member manuals, and then you get the network operator manual for yourself, there's lots of ways you can do it. Killing the King's Bounty is the 3rd adventure in the Gate of Infinite Stars story arc. So part of with Vast Grimm that I wanted to emphasize for people, because a lot of people see the Borg engine as strictly one-shot games, is having an ongoing like adventure series. So it started out with the Grimm Outlook, then it continued on with Jaws of Madness, both of which will be available in the Pledge Manager as add-ons. And then the 3rd part is Killing the King's Bounty. And in the setting, people are building these pieces to create a Gate of Infinite Stars, a way out of the universe before it implodes and before the Grimm take over and humanity is lost. So this adventure series is the path to trying to help collect all those pieces to ensure your crew has a way out of the galaxy or the universe.
Rad. Love it. And oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm like, oh, but there's more. Terminus Star is a zine that has adventure lore and setting to it. Terminus Star is the location, the flying, the ever moving science station where they're actually putting the Gate of Infinite Stars together. And the people that run that is an organization, a faction called Humanity's Protectorate. And John Baltusberger is writing additional fiction for that zine, because moving forward, each quarter as I release new zines, he's going to write a fiction zine to coincide with the adventure stuff, to just give more meat to it and get people more into the setting. And we'll also throw in some NPCs and little mini adventures and stuff into that zine, so it's not just fiction, so that there's, it's got a little extra to it for the people that want to be able to play stuff with it. And then I've got patches and exclusive t-shirt and the battle binder, which is the A5 size retro inspired Velcro enclosed binder, which I've been using for a similar one for all my games for months and months now, and I just love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on one, because I've been eyeballing those since you kickstarted them in Skirmish.
Yes.
And oh, go ahead.
Oh, that'll be fulfilling sometime in November.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. That is great. So you mentioned Killing the King's Bounty being the third book, but it's also a good jump point for new players.
Yes.
Not having to play the previous two. How hard is it to write something from kind of both perspectives for players that have played parts 1 and 2, and then players that are just jumping in?
Well, I think one of the easiest ways to do it with the series that I'm writing is that each of the 6 components, like the pieces that they're trying to get, whether they get one or not, you can start at point C, then go to point A, then go to point B, then go to point F, like, because they're all over the universe. It doesn't have to be in sequential order. And so
Gotcha.
usually with that, I write a if scenario, like if they happen to have be coming from this part, then this is what's going on. If not, this is stuff that's happening in the universe anyway. So this is what the situation is at the beginning of the story.
Gotcha. Okay, that's really cool that it's non-linear, really.
Yeah,
So
I mean, because you don't want to have to railroad people.
railroad anyone, right?
If like I'm running games locally, and if I have one group getting a piece here, I need another group to be able in the same universe. Like if a torment occurs in one game, it occurs in the other one. So like if they're coming in and trying to find this piece, oh, it's already gone because this crew got it. So I want to try and make it, if somebody were running multiple games, it could easily work together.
Nice. That's a really cool, like almost like West Marches type approach to things. I like it.
Yes, I want to do a West Marches game next year.
Nice. I'm in. Count me in. I'll help out. So there are also a lot of new mechanics coming out.
Yes.
With things. Was there any particular one that really required a lot more tweaking over time than others? And which was your favorite to watch unfold in playtesting?
I think leveling up is probably my favorite part because it makes it a little more relatable to some more traditional RPGs that people are used to, and it gives people something to a little bit to work. No, I take that back. Worm removal has been my favorite thing because that's something that came up in play immediately. Like even before there were any mechanics to it, people were like, I got infected. Where's a med bay? I'm going to find a way to cut this thing out of me. I'm going to figure out this. So that evolved over time through gameplay and then also through the mechanics that I worked into Skirmish, because as I'm making like Plunderlust, the card game, Skirmish, the skirmish game, and Vasgrim, the RPG, I want each of them to like overlap each other and I want them to play well with one another. So as rules for removing worms happened in Skirmish, because that's really important, I wanted to make sure it worked in the RPG side. And also, as the rules have tweaked a little bit, it's a lot easy. I've found ways to write it so it's way more prevalent that in the RPG people will get infected with worms, because it happens all the time in the skirmish side. And so tweaking the rules a little bit to make that more prevalent, it adds a layer of fun and grossness because this is a splatterpunk style game.
Right.
I think it was important to make it happen more on the regular.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot, my friend. You mentioned working with John on Humanity's Protectorate and the other novella. Excuse me. What do you think both sides of the table are going to like most about the what's the word? I just lost it again.
Like the narrative fiction that he's writing?
Yeah, and how it works into the game. What do you think are going to be both the player's favorite and the network operator's favorite?
I think it's probably going to be similarly aligned, that almost all of the books that I like Ross and I did, and then the things that I've put out just on my own, almost all of it is really just the imagery and short, quippy writing that really sets the tone. Whereas because I don't write in that long form narrative style, it doesn't really dig into and describing it with the real adjectives and really set the tone through the words itself to put people into the setting. I think reading his work, it will allow them to visualize it in a way that isn't done in the books right now. Like right now, the books, it's like really loud in your face. It gives you like, yes, this is what I think. But then you read his, it's like, oh gosh, really? That's disturbing.
Yeah, he's a very visceral writer, I
Yes, he
think
is.
would be a good way of saying it. And I love it. I've got a couple of his books up on my shelf above me here that I still need to finish reading. Um, but yeah, I'm so psyched to see you two, especially working together with like his writing style and worms and all the nastiness of the
Yes,
vast Grimm universe. It's like a perfect little, it's almost like a Reese's peanut butter cup
that's
of
right.
people working together.
And something gross wiggling inside of it.
Very true. Very true. I hadn't thought of that. Um, so you got some pretty fun stretch goals, I think, that with all these adventure generators.
Yes.
I love generators. I love tables because it makes it so you don't have to think as much. Um, thematically, aside from splatterpunk themed, what are going to be some of the themes of the?
I don't know exactly yet because I've only, gotten them on board to doing the generators. Luckily, those
Gotcha.
are faster to pull together. The only restriction that I have said so far is to not have them be on the waste barges of Kalar with Shit King Saul because killing the King's Bounty is set in that domain of the universe. I already have a lot that I've personally created for that. So there's a lot of things that I didn't want them to any of the guest writers to work in that area just because I've created a lot in that zine itself. But I'm super excited because whenever I run a game at like I tend to not run the adventures that I've already written because I like to be surprised as much as possible at the table. And
Yep.
usually I have the players, I like say, okay, well, you roll a d12, you roll a d20, you roll a d20, you roll a d8, and going through generator tables and making notes on a postcard or a index card, saying what all those things are and figuring out how to make those things happen through the gameplay. That's how I prefer to run like convention games. So having other people make generators that will surprise me and keep me on my toes is like that was the whole goal for this for me because I needed more of them.
That actually I love the sound of that because I know how, even when we played at Granite State, um, you would chuckle when we would roll things like, "Oh, these guys are toast." And and I can just see with stuff that surprises you, the laughter that's gonna get out of you of like, "Oh, you guys are really dead this time."
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy running games that way. That's how the one game I ran at Gen Con this year, instead of doing the adventure that we had slated for it, I was like, hey, I'm filling in for the GM, for the network operator this game. Since I'm the co-creator of it, would you mind if I do something a little different? And luckily, nobody minded that they weren't playing the adventure that they had signed up for, and I had them all roll stuff and pulled the tables out of the core book and just made it up as we went.
That's awesome. I bet they love that, so
Yeah, yeah, it was good. And especially for somebody like me that knows the setting inside and out, that I can just kind of wing it as I go. It makes a very unique experience for each group that I play with.
nice. Um, speaking of your knowledge, that actually got a question kind of going in my head. If you were, I'm sure you've got some kind of, for lack of a better term, like world Bible made up somewhere.
I'm I've started updating. I'm working on it. Yes.
How, if it were to be printed into a book, how voluminous would it be
I
of?
mean, let's see. Is it just the stuff that Ross and I have created, or does it also include like We did Adventures in the Volatile Verse, which were guest written adventures that were stretch goals for previous campaigns, or is it, which I then did the art and the layout for, but I didn't do the actual writing, or is it just the stuff that that I've written?
Oh, all the lore combined.
I mean, because this is all short, bullet point Borg style writing, it wouldn't be nearly as thick as you'd think, but I'd say it'd easily be like a 300 to 500 page thing, you know?
Wow.
I mean, because like after the core book, then there were 2 crowdfunding campaigns for 3 additional hardcover expansions. And then I've done the 2 zines, and Alan Hall wrote the solo Grim Solitude rules, and then all the stuff that I've released on Patreon that hasn't actually found a home in any of the books yet, or may never. And the other like one-shot zines, like I Want Your Skulls and Into the Wormhole, and Ross wrote an adventure She-Wolf that hasn't been published yet. Like there's a lot. So part of the Bible is important to know, like if King Saul is here and we write about this, we write about him here with this, and then he's in this book with this, that is becoming more and more important, just so that I remember exactly what's been created, what hasn't, and so I don't use the same name over and over again with the wrong person.
That's got to be kind of intense to keep track of all of that.
It is. That's why I only have like 3.5 of the books entered into this system that I've started using so far, and I still have a long way to go.
Crazy. Another thing, speaking of a long way to go, that we were talking about before we went live, if you're cool talking about, is how far ahead you think. And
how far ahead do I plan and think?
Yeah.
Okay, so I tend to map out the next year, knowing that things change, knowing that you have to be flexible and you can't always hit the things that you want to hit, and not to beat yourself up if you don't get to these things. But Raymond, not to mention all the headcanon that GMs and players can create along the way. That's so true. So for me, I have 2026 mapped out. And so far that includes 12 zines, new Plunderlust expansion, that includes bringing back cartography, that includes Battle Binders project. 1, 2. Yeah, those are it so far. And then also I'm gonna have some additional Squirmish stuff in there as well. So yeah, I see lots of plates spinning in 2026.
Yeah, I just picture you kind of like juggling and balancing plates at the same time. Got that there. And so we've talked a little bit about the new printer that you got. How does that, how will being able to print your own zines affect your production timeline?
It should accelerate it like crazy. So like I don't usually have everything wrapped up by the time I launch the crowdfunding campaign, right? I usually have it pretty far along, but it's not completely finalized. I'm hoping that for 2026, because I know what I'm going to be doing, my goal is to have all of those completely done right or prior to launching whatever campaign that is. Like if I only do like a 10-day Kickstarter for those, so that it's just short and sweet, I'd like to have all the books done so that I can have a rough idea on the count that I need to print and start printing those as soon as the campaign ends. And so that 2 weeks after that, when the money hits the bank from Kickstarter or BackerKit or whoever I'm using, that I can actually go ahead and start shipping them out. I don't know if I'll actually be able to do this, but if I can do something where I run a campaign and 2 weeks later start shipping it out to people, I think I will blow people's minds.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna more than blow people's minds. That's gonna be like, what the,
right?
It's unheard of. It's just unheard of. A 2 week.
We'll see if I can do it. But that's that's one of my goals. Like, yeah, I want people to with the things that I make and the experiences, the games that they play in, not just by me, but the other people that are running games at conventions, the things interacting with us at booths at conventions. I want to create infectious experiences, and I want to make people want to keep playing more and keep reading more and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and Raymond said he was pretty shocked with how quick he got.
Grim Solitude
Ooh,
and Jaws of Madness.
thank you.
And that was most of that was me like waiting on the printer to be delivered and that to get installed, because like the shed that's in my backyard that's 10 foot by 30 foot, it was an unfinished shed. And I had to dig a 130-foot trench from my house to it in Georgia summer, so that we could run super fat electrical lines, because it needs its own breaker box. Each there needs to be 4 individual breakers just for the printer alone, for the printing part, for the paper cutter part, for the folder part, for the stapler part. So like I ran electricity. Me and my friend Jeffro did the electricity running, ran lights, insulated it, built out walls, built out the ceiling, put in a mini split AC unit, like turned what was just a normal wood shed into an actual like space where things could be printed and paper could live there and not get super damaged.
Dude, that is insane. So not only are you doing everything Creature Curation, you're going to have Colin Construction Company basically up and running.
Oh gosh, no, certainly not. That's definitely a good enough scenario where it's like definitely, yeah, that's good enough for me. We'll hide that later with some decorative stuff later.
Oh, that's crazy though. 130-foot ditch.
Yes.
In the summer down in Georgia. That would have probably lost me the 100 pounds I need to lose.
Right, I know. Yeah, it was a whole lot of sweat. I think on a few of those days I showered 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
believe it.
that gross.
Wow, that is crazy, man.
Yeah.
So to kind of go back to the components of the Kickstarter, we keep saying the frame infected and infectious, which only makes me want to talk about the threat registry even more and more.
Yes.
Excuse me. How many new monsters are being introduced in there? Or
a huge chunk. I haven't actually. I don't know. Hang on. Let me go to that so I can look at the total count. We got 24, 30, 38. I want to say probably like 22-ish. Like there's a lot of new stuff. A lot of it, if you're on my Patreon, some of it's stuff that I've come up with a few years ago that's never never been printed in books, never been edited, never been cleaned up, that sort of thing. So I get a lot of my ideas out through Patreon, and people get to start playing around with some of these concepts early on. So a lot of it is pulled from that. Some of the stuff that I had planned on, Ross and I had planned on doing a different book that had a whole lot of alien species and things like that. Some of it's pulled into this for those, because not only will you eventually be able to play some of them as player characters, but they're also would be considered threats, especially depending on what their motives are.
Absolutely. So you've got a lot just going on in general, dude, and you're also working on a couple of other. Is there anything we haven't touched on with the Kickstarter that you would like to touch on?
No, I mean it's going to be live through October 30th. The more money we make, the more stretch goals it unlocks, and the more it makes, I can not hustle quite as hard, but all of this, like once you hit Kickstarters, a lot of it goes into manufacturing and production and all that stuff. But so I'm hoping we can keep going, and I'm hoping we can keep getting new players involved, because the more people we get playing, the more people we can talk about it with and just have good times.
Absolutely. But you are like, yeah, dude, I want nothing but the best for you. I want to see this just take off and have you be able to just create, because you do such a kick-ass job of it.
Well, thank you.
And for anyone watching now, there are links to both the Kickstarter and the Patreon in the description below. But one other thing is all the other projects you've got going on. You got to work on a really cool one that I wish I could have jumped on myself, which was Raptor Ruckus. How fun was that to work on?
Well, it's really cool, because I've Sorry, the trains are yelling at me. I've done some art for it, but really like Zach spearheaded that. Zach spearheaded that project, brought in a great team of folks for it, and then as it was in development and things like that, he asked if I would publish it under Creature Curation, which is fantastic because he's busy with Limithron. He can't represent it at conventions and work with getting it into stores and distribution and that sort of thing. And that's one of the things that I've been growing with Vast Grimm, with Plunderlust and Squirmish. So having that at the Creature Curation booth and being able to represent it there, and I've been able to create art for it. I've done a bunch of the dinosaur art, bunch of the class art. I actually have a few more classes of art that I need to do later today, tomorrow, Monday. Some last final pieces that I need to get done for the project. I've also helped manage the manufacturing side of it, dealing with the manufacturers, getting everything quoted and all that stuff, since I've got such a strong background in that as well. It's been awesome to see it take off, and I think it's only going to keep growing from there. There's so many people that are fans of dinosaurs, fans of thematically movies like Jurassic Park and other things. I think that community is only going to grow. And then when we start doing weird mashups where all of a sudden dinosaurs have found their way through a portal and are now in Vast Grimm, or vice versa, I think that's where it's going to get even more insane.
Man, a worm-infected dinosaur.
Right?
That's like a double layer cake of terror right there.
Right? Imagine the roar as all these larvae are splattering out all over the.
Oh man.
Yep.
And another project that you're working on right currently, I believe, is Ragnaborg. There are
Yes.
so many great Borg
Right?
based games out there. I love the versatility of
Yes.
the game.
With that, I'm on for creating a monster for it as one of the stretch goals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but Erica's doing great. Her Kickstarter's doing fantastic. So I can't wait to see. I'm also doing a guest spot in Torqueborg as well.
Oh,
right?
cool. What are you doing in that one?
That's another creature thing that I'm making.
Nice. Well, you definitely do a killer job, both literally and figuratively, designing creatures. So I've got to search this, or I might have to.
Let me double check. Unless the days have gone by, and unless I'm confusing something. No, that was early on at the 16K stretch goal. New Astral Horrors by me.
Nice. So I don't know if you saw this in the chat that Raymond said, search Google for Malisaurus Rex Malifaux.
Okay.
And it is one horrifying dinosaur. I'm going to see if I can pop it up.
Ooh, I love it.
I don't know that I can share it without, I don't know.
Especially one of the paint jobs I see on it. It's got those purple spikes coming off of it, contrasted with the green. Definitely has some jokery vibes for the color palette on the painted version I'm pulling up. But yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah,
I'll pop this back up on the screen.
Out of the mouth.
Anyone watching, search this dinosaur because it
awesome.
It looks like that could fit in the Grimm universe.
Yes, it could.
Thanks for that suggestion, Raymond. That was awesome. Yeah. So the printer, we talked about that. I think I've covered everything I had.
Cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up that we haven't talked about? Because I'm always game to keep on talking with you.
Yeah. I just right before Pittsburgh Gaming Expo last weekend, I got the rest of Plunderlust fulfilled to U.S. backers, and my fulfillment partner in the U.K. is getting it out to all the folks not in the U.S. And that's a card game set in the same universe as Vast Grimm. It's available now on the Creature Curation site. It's super fun. The cards are compatible with the RPG, where the characters and monsters have hit points, armor, and weapons that actually are one-to-one in the RPG. So you could actually use those if you're a network operator to say, hey, you run into this guy walking down the corridor. You can use actual gear and items from it and give those to players. So that's an additional thing that I need to make some videos of how to incorporate it into the RPG side and not just use it as a card game.
Nice. I love the depth of the universe and how you've incorporated everything to just kind of be this like the symbiosis between everything. And
yes, I want it all to work together because I want to pull a little bit for each of them to when I'm playing a game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, it's between minis, cards, battle binders, and everything. I love it. It's
Thanks.
so cool. Like,
Thank you.
I wish I could come up with cooler words to describe what I really think of it, but
No, it works just fine.
well, my friend, I should let you get back to your family.
Oh, I've got so much work to do today.
And get some work done. And Raymond, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Raymond.
And anyone that watches in the future, thanks for watching. But get over and back Escaping Stasis. The link is below. And yeah, watch out for more of Creature Curation in 2026 because Brian's bringing the thunder.
Oh, thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a great afternoon, and I'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Dave.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure. We'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed.